Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back, and today we're talking about the moment America basically said "Nikuluma udodi" to South Africa's crime statistics. And honestly, it was about damn time. It's 2025, and the US State Department's Bureau for Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor decides to do something radical. They actually investigate what's happening on South African farms instead of just reading our government's press conferences, sad faces, and believing everything Becky Cele says. And what did they find? Exactly what anyone with half a brain already knew. Our government has been lying through their teeth about farm murders. But here's the kicker. It took a foreign government to officially call out what our own media has been covering up for years. This is what I like to call the American bombshell, where our stats are the fakest of the fake. The DRL didn't rock up with opinions. They came with facts that make our government's spin doctors look like amateur magicians. The real numbers are 296 farm attacks and 49 farm murders in 2023, 55 farm murders in 2024, not the decrease our politicians claim, victims systematically tortured before getting killed. Stuff isn't even stolen. So much for the crime of poverty narrative, huh? Police response times that would make a snail look like the Flash and Sonic if they had a child. But here's the part that really exposes our media's lies. These aren't just random crimes like they want you to think. The torture factor our media ignores is huge, because the Americans found that anyone who's looked at a farm attack photo knows this. People are not just being robbed and shot and then their house gets empty. They are being tortured with hot irons, dragged behind vehicles, mutilated in medieval ways, while nothing valuable is taken. It's almost as if it's a witch trial there, not a robbery. Try finding that level of detail in mainstream South African media. Go ahead. I'll wait. The kill the Boer connection is big too, because the DRL found that perpetrators literally chant "kill the Boer" during these attacks. The same chant our politicians sing at rallies. But according to our media, it's just cultural expression. There's no murder involved. It's just a chant. The Americans said if your politicians sing murder songs and then people get murdered while singing the same songs, I don't know, guys, maybe there's a connection. Revolutionary thinking, right? Why are the Americans right about this? Why do you know they are right? Well, you see, they didn't discover anything new. They just had the chutzpah to say all we knew. Our government has been gaslighting us like a toxic ex for years. Farm murders are ordinary crime, numbers are going down, and there's no racial motive. What a load of horseradish. Meanwhile, anyone with internet can see the crime scene photos, read attack details, and notice patterns. But our media, too busy protecting the narrative. The evidence, guys, is overwhelming. Racial slurs used during those attacks, extreme torture beyond robbery. They don't even take anything. Geographic clustering coordination, political rhetoric correlating with attack methods. But our media reports it like a random street crime. Happens all the time. Because apparently, your average tsotsi now carries branding irons and has a PhD in psychological torture. But here's where it gets really complicated. Before you think I'm just America good, South Africa bad, let me tell you why our government's response, while being dishonest, actually makes sense from their perspective. Here's the government's impossible position. You see, if they admit farm attacks are racially motivated, if the government confirms the white genocide narrative internationally, it gives ammunition to opposition parties. It acknowledges transformation policies that might fuel racial tensions. It validates what they've called right-wing propaganda. But if they don't, people will keep dying, international pressure builds, they look incompetent or complicit, so they choose least political damage, which is deny everything like a deadbeat dad, deflect and hope it goes away. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Their valid points are that farm murders are 0.2 of total murders, okay, 49 out of 27,000 annually. Alright, most farm murder victims are actually black farm workers. Okay, that's true. Economic desperation does contribute to rural crime. That's true. Doesn't mean you should lie. International coverage does lack historical context. That's alright. It's cool. Our media's dilemma, though, is that if they report the full truth, they will be accused of promoting racial division, might fuel vigilante violence, and damage international reputation. But if they don't, people will die while public stays uninformed, international credibility suffers, and they become complicit. You see, so both sides have a point here. They choose protecting the narrative over protecting people. History won't be so kind. And now, here's the Afriforum victory lap and why they kind of earned it. Afriforum is doing the I told you so dance right now. And they've earned it because for years, while government spun tech, statistics, and media downplayed the crises, Afriforum was busy quietly documenting the attacks in detail, collecting evidence police ignore, fighting for proper investigations, taking it international when the locals failed. And guess what? They're actually right. They are right about the systemic nature of the attacks, the racial targeting patterns, and the extreme violence involved, and the government's deliberate downplay. But they do have blind spots. They focus primarily on white victims. They underemphasize attacks on the black farm workers. Sometimes they even use polarizing language and present issue isolated from broader context. You see now, and that makes international institutions raise an eyebrow every time you say the word Afriforum. Because American involvement in our crime stats is awkward, even when they're right. Afriforum helping kind of does help, but at the same time, those who don't trust it have been given a little bit of a bigger reason because of how they emphasize it. You get what I mean? It kind of deflects from the main issue, or maybe it doesn't. Tell me what you think. The diplomatic awkwardness is this. It's getting crime lectures from a country with regular mass shootings, higher crime rates in many categories, police violence issues, and racial tensions, like you getting marriage advice from someone on their fourth divorce. And they might be right. That's what makes it worse. But the messenger themselves is problematic. But you see, sometimes outside perspective helps. Our government and media are so committed to their narrative, they've lost sight of reality. The American investigation forced a conversation we have been avoiding. And here's the evidence trail our media buried. 1. Pattern recognition. Afriforum is right about this. The farm attacks show clear patterns distinguishing them from ordinary crime. Okay? Coordinated timing, consistent extreme torture methods, targeting isolated vulnerable victims, like the elderly citizens, use of specific racial language, like kill the Boer, political connection, apparently attack spikes following inflammatory speeches are there, political slogans are used during attacks, and geographic correlation with political tension areas, timing coinciding with land reform debates as well. Now, here's the cover-up evidence. The police are refusing to investigate these racial motives. The media keeps editing out the crucial details. Have you noticed? Officials are downplaying obvious patterns. Statistics are manipulated to hide the trends. You get what I mean? So here's the uncomfortable truth. I'm going to say something nobody wants to admit, but I will. South Africa has systemic, racially motivated farm attacks, and addressing it honestly might make things worse for them. For us, all of us, we are trapped in a situation where denying the problem allows it to continue, and acknowledging it might inflame unnecessary tension. International pressure exposes lies but complicates solutions. Media silence will protect some interests while enabling violence. You see? So the real stakes are, while we debate these narratives, real people die horrifically, putting irons on. Hey guys, did you see those newspapers? Every month is spent arguing about calling it ordinary crime versus systematic targeting. It's another month families live in terror. Every single month, you all busy argue about whether this is systematic targeting or just another crime. Another family is going hungry. Another family is not eating today because another farmer has been killed. Another farmer is being grilled to death. So what do you think? America has officially called BS on our farm murder narrative. That's literally what they said. We told them what's up, and then they said nonsense. We're going to investigate. Patterns are clear. The evidence is overwhelming. And a lot of it is covered up. Here's what the government should do. They must admit they have been lying and should change their approach, or should they continue doing what they're doing? Should they find middle ground, acknowledging problems without inflaming tensions? Should our media start talking about this more? Start having more 700 million rand panel discussions? Or continue protecting narrative from social cohesion? Continue to report honestly without fueling hatred? Tell me what you think. Is international involvement necessary? Is it necessary because our institutions have failed? Is it counterproductive interference? Is it helpful? Is it problematic? Your choice, South Africa. From thee to you, this isn't about farm murders. It's about whether we can handle truth about difficult issues or keep pretending problems don't exist until foreign governments actually force the reality on us. The Americans have exposed the lies, they have documented patterns, and they have called out the cover-up. They did their job. Now, we decide what to do with that information. Are you ready for the truth? Or are you going to keep lying to yourselves until the next international investigation forces your hand? The evidence is clear. The choice is yours. What do you think we should do? This is the Summer Assembly, and like always, smash that like button, massage that comment section, share this video. I'll see you next time.